Hey there guys, welcome back to our channel where we talk about all the interesting topics from around the world. Today we're going to talk about something that's been making headlines recently. Why is China's population shrinking? It's no secret that China is a giant when it comes to its population. With over 1.4 billion people, it's the most populous country in the world. However, recent reports have shown that the population is actually decreasing, which is a cause for concern. So let's explore the reasons behind this phenomenon. Reason 1. One-child policy. In order to slow China's population growth, which has been booming for decades, the one-child policy was implemented in 1979. Although it was initially intended to be a temporary measure, the policy was eventually relaxed to a two-child policy in 2015 after being in place for more than 3 decades. Families were only allowed to have one child under the one-child policy, with occasional exceptions provided for ethnic minorities and rural households. The policy was enforced through a combination of incentives and penalties. Better housing, healthcare and educational opportunities were given to families who adhered to the program, while those who did not were subject to fines, job loss, and even forced abortions. Although the one-child policy successfully achieved its objective of curbing China's population growth, it had inadvertent outcomes. One of the most significant ramifications was the lopsided gender ratio in the nation. As many families favored male offspring due to cultural traditions, they opted for selective abortions, causing a disproportionate number of males compared to females in the population. Furthermore, the policy resulted in a smaller cohort of children who have now entered their childbearing years. Consequently, the country is facing a deceleration in its population growth rate, causing apprehensions about a dwindling labor force, a growing elderly population, and the sustainability of China's economy. To mitigate these concerns, the Chinese administration relaxed the policy in 2015 to a two-child policy. Nevertheless, the influence of the one-child policy is still palpable today, given that many families have already restricted their family size to a single child, and the birth rate has not increased as much as the government has aspired. In conclusion, although the one-child policy was initiated with noble intentions, its inadvertent consequences have resulted in a reduced cohort of children and a declining population growth rate in China. Only time will reveal the long impact of this policy on China's future. Reason 2. Aging population. The aging population is a key additional factor contributing to China's population reduction. From just 4% in 1982 to 12% in 2020, the percentage of adults 65 and older has been rising rapidly. Over 23% of China's population will be 65 years of age or older by 2050, according to estimates which predict the trend will continue. An aging population presents several challenges for the country, particularly in terms of the economy. With fewer people of working age to support the elderly population, there is likely to be a significant strain on the country's pension system, healthcare system, and other social welfare programs. Moreover, an aging population can also lead to a decline in productivity and innovation. As people age, they may become less productive in the workforce, leading to a reduction in economic growth. Additionally, an aging population may have different consumption patterns, with a greater demand for healthcare and leisure activities and services, and a lower demand for consumer goods. Furthermore, the aging population may also put pressure on the family structure in China. Traditionally, Chinese families have relied on their children to provide care for elderly parents. However, with the one-child policy leading to smaller families, there may be fewer people available to care for the elderly, which can create a burden on society. To address these challenges, the Chinese government has implemented several policies to encourage families to have more children, including financial incentives, better maternity and paternity leave, and improved childcare facilities. Additionally, the government has also been promoting healthy aging and encouraging older people to remain active in the workforce, thereby contributing to the economy and society. In conclusion, the aging population of China presents several challenges for the country, including a strain on social welfare programs, a decline in productivity, and pressure on the family structure. The Chinese government is implementing policies to address these challenges, but only time will tell how effective these measures will be in ensuring a sustainable future for the country. Reason 3. High cost of living. Another factor affecting China's population decline is the country's high cost of living. Young couples now find it more challenging to have children as a result of rising housing costs, educational expenses, and general cost of life. Many people are delaying getting married or starting a family until they feel financially secure. One of the biggest financial challenges in China is housing. With urbanization and economic growth, the demand for housing has skyrocketed, driving up prices. For young couples, owning a home can be a significant financial burden, making it difficult to save for other expenses such as childcare and education. Education is also a major expense for families in China. The cost of tuition and school supplies has risen rapidly in recent years, making it difficult for families to afford education for their children. Additionally, many parents feel pressure to provide their children with the best education possible, which can further drive up costs. The cost of raising a child in China is so expensive. In addition to education and housing costs, families must also pay for healthcare, food, and other expenses associated with child rearing. With the one-child policy in effect for so many years, many families have become accustomed to having only one child, making it difficult to adjust to the financial burden of having more children. To address these challenges, the Chinese government has implemented several policies aimed at reducing the cost of living and making it easier for young couples to start families. These include measures to increase affordable housing, reduce education costs, and provide financial assistance to families with multiple children. In conclusion, the high cost of living of China is a significant factor contributing to the declining population. Young couples are delaying marriage and having children due to financial concerns, and the cost of raising a child is a burden for many families. While the government has implemented measures to address these challenges, it remains to be seen how effective they will be in encouraging more people to have children and reversing the population decline. Reason 4: gender imbalance. Another important issue contributing to the population drop in China is the gender gap. There is disproportionately more men than women in the nation as a result of the one-child policy and the historic preference of male offspring. Numerous families who could only have one child made the decision to have a boy, which led to sex-selective abortions and other gender selection techniques. As a result, there are now approximately 30 million more men than women in China. This gender imbalance has made it increasingly difficult for men to find wives, particularly in rural areas where traditional gender roles are still deeply ingrained. Men may feel pressure to provide for their families and may not be able to do so without a wife to help with household duties and child rearing. Additionally, women may be hesitant to marry men who are significantly older or have lower social and economic status. The consequences of this gender imbalance beyond just marriage and family dynamics. It also has the implications for an overall population. With fewer marriages and fewer children being born, the population is shrinking at an even faster rate. To address this issue, the Chinese government has implemented several measures aimed at reducing gender discrimination and promoting gender equality. These include laws and policies that prohibit sex-selective abortions, provide support for single mothers, and encourage the education and empowerment for women. While these measures are important steps towards addressing the gender imbalance, it remains to be seen how effective they will be in reversing the trend of population decline. It will likely take time and continued efforts to fully address this complex issue and its impact on the population of China. Reason 5: urbanization. China has experienced significant urbanization in recent years, with millions of people moving from rural areas to cities. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, China's urban population has grown from 17.9% in 1978 to 60.6% in 2019. This rapid urbanization has been driven by various factors, including better job opportunities, higher wages, improved infrastructure, and a higher standard of living. As more people move to cities, the population in rural areas has declined. This trend has been particularly prevalent among young people who are drawn to the opportunities and excitement of city life. Many rural areas are struggling to retain their population, which can have significant economic and social implications. The rural areas have declining populations, which can lead to a decrease in the demand for goods and services, which can lead to a decline in the local economy. This can result in businesses closing down, which can lead to job losses and a decrease in the standard of living for those who remain in rural areas. Moreover, the aging population in rural areas can also have significant implications. With fewer young people staying in rural areas, there are fewer people of working age to support the elderly population. This can lead to a strain on social services such as health care and social security, which can have negative consequences for the elderly population. Overall, China's rapid urbanization has contributed to the shrinking population by causing a decline in the rural population. While urbanization has brought many benefits, such as better job opportunities and a higher standard of living, it's important for the policymakers to address the challenges faced by rural areas to ensure that the country's population remains sustainable in the long run. In conclusion, China's population is shrinking due to a combination of factors, including a one-child policy, an aging population, the high cost of living, and a great gender imbalance. Although the Chinese government has relaxed the one-child policy, it may take decades for the population to recover. The shrinking population has significant implications for the country's economy, workforce, and social structure, and it'll be interesting to see how China navigates this demographic challenge in the coming years. Thank you for watching.